I mean, I'm just saying. Seems kind of weird to be so protective of them when you're, well, selling them protection. I says to Mark whilst we walked to the van after the funeral was done. Okay, hold on a second real quick. I just got that last thing might be kind of confusing for people who don't know nothing about rackets. So protection don't really mean protection, but also it does. You see, the idea is the mob comes to your home or your business and says that the place is real dangerous. But if you pay them X amount of money every X amount of time, they keep you safe. Now what they're actually saying to folks is that place is dangerous because of them, and for a certain amount of money, they won't terrorize the person they're selling protection to. You know how you watch a YouTube video and one of the ads is YouTube trying to get you to pay for ad-free YouTube? Same thing, but you don't got a choice but to pay. That's how selling protection works. Anyway, let's hear what Mark has to say on the subject.
I already told you. It's just the way I get around those guys. They ain't running rackets or trying to protect anyone. It's all a real-life fantasy for them. Me and the rest do what we gotta do if we gotta do it to keep things under control.
He says to me,
You know how hard it is for a handful of humans to keep the peace in the underworld of the supernatural underworld? We can't give an inch. They gotta be terrified of us because some of them are easy stronger than the strongest man on earth. They get to smelling blood in the water and things might go south real fast. And end up like it is down south where the vampires run shit.
So you got the paranormal underworld under your thumb around here?
Yeah, more or less. And Snakehead Broad runs the show in the legal stuff and lets us do our thing in the less legal shit as long as we leave her and her employees alone.
But how do you keep all these crazy-ass monsters and shit in check? You're a regular Joe, same as me, ain't you?
You ever pick up a cat that 100% don't want to be picked up?
Yeah, why?
Successfully?
No.
Exactly. You're way bigger and way stronger than the cat. But once that cat flips its shit and goes fucking Antichrist, suddenly most people don't want no part of that cat. I seen one cat have 4 grown adults trapped in a bathroom scared out of their damn minds. That's how we run things around here. You step out of line, if we can do it, we will. We've sat at the table of beings you can't even imagine. Because we can get stuff that nobody else can. And because we'll do things nobody else will.
And that's when I started to realize I might have stepped out of my league with this bunch. But I was already in it, so I might as well keep going. I guess I get that. I said, opening the door to the van and climbing inside. So we got any work for today?
Nah, take the day off. I'm gonna drop you back off, then I'm gonna go talk to the kid's family at their place for a little while.
After that, we went back to the apartments and he dropped me off out front. Then, as I turned from the van, I go to see the landlord getting ready to leave the office. Wouldn't normally be a big deal if I hadn't noticed at the same time that the goblin found its way out of my apartment and was heading in her direction. Shit! I thought to myself, starting to panic. There's no way you can explain a goddamn goblin. I ain't even allowed to have cats here, I said as I frankly made a mad dash to grab the thing and take off before she saw it. Almost there. Almost. Got ya! Oh, hey. Louis, right? Is your rent due or something? I heard a voice from behind me speak as I wrapped the thrashing mini monster in my jacket. Oh, hi, Mrs. Barnes. But no, not for another few weeks. I just, dropped my jacket. I lied, thinking there's no way she's gonna buy it. Oh, okay. See you then, I guess. Landlord said as she wandered off in some kind of stupor. What the hell are you doing out? I growled at the little monster squirming around in my arms. What's in your mouth? Once I was back in my apartment, I dropped the struggling creature to the ground and pulled the object I wrestled from its mouth out of my pocket, which I determined to be the groin area of a garden gnome. You know, this ain't too reassuring, right? I asked the thing as I tossed the ceramic crotch on the counter. Could have just caught a damn goldfish. My phone ringing is what woke me up the next morning. Burner phone. This is gonna be interesting. I groaned as I rolled over and picked it up off the nightstand. Kim's Korean Laundry, I answered, still trying to wake up all the way.
I need you to whack someone,
Mark said from the other end. Why can't the gorilla with the hog splitter do it? Seems a better pick for it.
This don't mean his criteria. And we got you now, so I'll say it again. You need to whack someone,
Mark answered. Fine, ho? I asked, shifting to put my feet on the floor. Oh, Jesus, fuck!
What the hell's wrong with you?
I heard Mark ask. That goddamn thing just ran out from under my bed and scared the shit out of me. I still ain't used to having a little Antichrist running around my place, I groaned as I flopped back onto my pillow. Anyway, who's getting whacked?
The folder's on the floor in the front of the door.
I leaned up and saw a manila folder right where he said.
Huh, that's convenient.
So, there anything special I need to kill this chump?
Nah, any standard whacking method should work. Just don't stir up any shit, and don't be seen. Other than that, I don't care how you do it as long as he ain't breathing by the end of the day.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing, I told him before hanging up. You stay your little ass in here, you understand? I told the goblin before closing the door to the apartment. It wasn't until I was halfway across the courtyard that it hit me. How the hell am I supposed to get there? Taking a bus to kill a guy. This is not the height of my nefarious career, I thought to myself as the bus rolled to a stop. This guy better not be a hassle, I'm already aggravated. So I stepped off the bus and onto the street. I checked the map and started heading to the place. After wandering around for a while, I finally found the joint. Big ass McMansion looking place off the way a little bit. I pulled out my phone to call Mark. What kind of shit is this? I hissed.
What?
This guy's got cameras and armed guards all over the place, I complained.
And? He's in an armored car right now with more security. So you sure as shit ain't getting him in there.
And? Who do you think I am? I'm not loaded for this shit. I'm wearing a bowling shirt and cargo shorts. I'm in socks and Crocs, for fuck's sake.
You got this,
he said and then hung up. I hope you get full-body colon cancer, you asshole, I mumbled as I shoved my phone into my pocket. Well, this is gonna be one hell of a trick. So after scoping the place out for about an hour, I had my plan ready and in action. I had my pistol pointed at the camera on the left side of the house. Lucky for me, it was suppressed with the subsonic rounds. Because, shh. Keep in mind that when you see cameras in a private residence, they don't usually got somebody actually watching them. They're there to see who's been there, how they got there, and how they left. I didn't want to be on TV. I made sure I had my pistol ready for my signal, which was the kids who somebody just taught how to make hairspray bombs and who accidentally told them about the empty lot next to the house. Boom! Squeezed the trigger, shattering the camera.
The hell was that?
Once I saw the first guard rush to investigate, the rest took their positions just like I expected. Until...
It's just some fucking kids making hairspray bombs in the lot next door.
I heard the first guard call to the rest.
What? You fucking with me?
Another said as they all started to relax. And then, they left their post for just a second to talk. And that's when I slipped over the fence. I had to climb up the side of a damn house to get to the balcony where I saw what looked like the easiest lock to jimmy open with nothing but my knife I had on me at the time in case there was actually a lock. Luckily I was able to climb up without breaking my neck. I slid carefully and quietly over the guardrail and onto the balcony. But I waited a little while before entering. Tucked away in the far corner, I watched inside to check and see what was going on inside. Eat your heart out, Tom Clancy. It didn't look like there was anyone in there, so I slipped inside and waited for him in the dark bedroom. Click. Don't scream, I told him as he flipped on the light switch to the room after he arrived. I got some bad news for you, buddy.
What do you want? You can have whatever you want, just take it.
He said as soon as he saw the gun in my hand that was pointed at him as it rested on the arm of the chair I was been sitting on. That's not what this is about, I told him as I stood from the chair, causing him to back up a little bit to the wall.
What is it then? Why are you here? You're gonna kill me?
Afraid so, I answered plainly.
Why? Who wants me dead?
I don't know. It's not my department. Pissed off the wrong person or people and they want you dead. Tough break.
Please, mister, I'll do anything, please. I have a family, what about them?
He started to plead as he fell to his knees. They'll go on living and probably get one hell of an insurance payout on top of the inheritance by the looks of this place, I said, looking around. And hey, think of it this way. With all the weird shit I've seen lately, there's probably even an afterlife. So you got that going for you. Look, no matter what, this is happening. So here's my offer. You just go along with it and it'll be quick and painless. You'll never feel a thing. But you scream, fight back, run, or inconvenience me at all, I'm gonna shoot you in the lung and let you drown in your own blood. What's it gonna be? So what did that guy do to make me go through all this shit? I asked Mark later that day at the shop.
There's supposed to be some schmuck who was advocating the breakdown and public divide between humans and the paranormal. And if that happened, it would affect a lot of business like ours, and many more that would cater exclusively to the paranormal in order to maintain that segregation. Some anonymous person with the cash to spare apparently got anxious enough about it to have him removed from the equation, he explained.
So that was like a real deal political assassination?
Yeah, I guess so. Look who's moving up in the world,
he joked, slapping me on the back. But hey, I just had a thought, I said, the idea popping into my brain. Don't the people who hire people for political assassinations usually, do away with the assassins to keep it from getting linked back to them?
Nah. That's probably just the movies or something.
But, well, where do you think most people get the idea of how to deal with assassination? I asked again.
Well, you're just overthinking it,
he told me as he worked on placing more meat into their own plastic containers. And maybe you're right. Whoa, you okay, Mrs. Barnes? You look like death warmed over, I said before I could think when I saw my landlord on the way back to my apartment.
Huh? Oh, yeah, I'm just a little stressed.
Yeah, you look it. Say, I got an idea. You know that little restaurant down the road? Let's say we go down there and eat something. You can relax for a minute, I asked, feeling the roll of cash Mark gave me earlier that day. It's on me.
Sounds nice, but I really shouldn't.
Come on. I'm not asking you to marry me. I'm buying you food. Let's go. I'll have you back by curfew, I insisted, taking her by the arm and walking the opposite direction back to the road.
Well, okay. I guess I can take a break for a little while,
she said softly as we walked. That's your spirit. You look like you're about to fall over anyway.
Oh God, I probably look horrible. I can't be in public like this.
You look fine. In a Grim Reaper kind of way. I mumbled that last part under my breath. It's no 5-star joint anyway. After we sat down and placed our orders, I decided to snoop a little. 'Cause why not? So, how are things in the landlord business?
Not great. I'm starting to think I'm way in over my head. I bought the place because of, for a guy. I had to borrow a lot of money from some really bad people, and I don't know if I'll be able to keep up with the payments, and...
She paused for a second, looking down at the table.
It was probably more than you wanted to know.
No, that's not it. Just more than I was expecting, I guess. So what about this guy? I asked her.
Oh, well, I guess you could say I bought the place for him, if things just didn't work out,
she told me, sounding kind of regretful.
He even cost me my old job, so this is all I've got now.
So you buy an entire apartment complex after he gets you fired and just go into debt for this guy? And what? He runs off on you?
Something like that. But now I'm stuck with the place. The guy who used to own it has his nephew to do all the maintenance and upkeep, and he lived off pretty much a shoestring budget. But I've never run a place like this before, and the stress is starting to get to me, she explained.
Well, damn, that's, well, I thought I got a raw deal, I mumbled.
So what brings you here? She asked me. Seems like a lot of you East Coast city types are showing up all over the place lately. What kind of work you do?
Oh, well, a little of this, a little of that. General contracting, I guess you could say, I lied.
Oh, so like construction and stuff?
Yeah, something like that. So where are you from?
Oh, Mississippi. Moved out here for work, too. Still haven't gotten used to this place yet.
She joked, finally sounding a little less miserable. Hey, look at that. That's the first time I've seen you smile since we met. I'm starting to think you didn't know how. I joked back as the waitress brought out our food. Close the goddamn door! Mark bellowed at me over the blood-curdling screams as soon as I tried to walk into the shop the following day. What the fuck is this shit show? I yelled back once I was inside. Once I got a good look, I saw he had yet another poor bastard strapped to the chair. Several toes already splattered across the floor. What the shit did this guy do?
That ain't nothing you gotta worry about, Take this to the morgue and get what's on this list whilst I'm finishing up here.
He said, handing me this bloody piece of paper.
And after this, you're gonna go meet Muscles and help him with the thing.
Muscles? You mean the giant Chinese bastard? The fuck could he possibly need my help for? You want me to wipe his ass or something?
Just go do this list and don't argue with me.
Mark told me before punching the guy in the jaw, who had started trying to wiggle his way out of the chair.
And you sit still!
What am I gonna do? The guy looks like he could bully a rhino out of his lunch money and I gotta go play nanny for him or something? This is some bullshit, I complained to myself as I wheeled the cadavers out of the morgue and into the connecting hallway.
You stay out of his way, and then when he's done you go in and find this.
Mark told me as he handed me another piece of paper. I unfolded it to see the picture of what looked like an old hammer. This is it? You can't just go to a goddamn hardware store? I asked him, kinda getting frustrated.
Do you want to work or do you want a history lesson? Once upon a time there was a guy who did his fucking job, the end.
He snapped, but then he paused for a second.
Okay, look, so there's this guy. Well, not really a guy, he's actually a god. Hephaestus, to be specific. He's basically the god of making shit. And there's a few people out there who go out of their way and deep into their wallets to collect things this guy made. The guy who has it now is one of those guys, and we're getting paid a whole lot of money to get it from him. Now go meet Muscles at that address, and once everything is cleaned out, you go in and get that thing in the picture. And if you see something that catches your eye, you can take that too for your trouble. But you don't leave until you get that hammer. You understand what I'm saying?
It sounds like you want me to go loot a house after the guy massacres everyone inside.
Is that a problem?
Mark asked, aiming a nail gun at the guy's kneecap. Nah, just making sure, I answered before walking back outside. Ah, great. He looks about as happy about this as I am, I thought to myself as I pulled into the empty alleyway where we were supposed to meet. Maybe if I just keep my mouth shut I can get through this without getting my ass kicked. Then I got out of the van and walked over to meet him. He was standing next to the truck and was taking out the case with that giant hog splitter looking thing in and out of the bed. I just kind of moved aside to say, lead the way, and followed behind him. Once we made it to the other end of the alley, he put his hand out to stop me, pointing up to an open window where some guy was watching over the streets. A lookout. What are we gonna do about this? I asked him since I didn't bring my pistol this time. But he didn't answer. He just popped the case open, removed a massive weapon from inside, and waved me out of the way. I was honestly kind of curious to see what he was about to do. I hadn't actually got to see the guy in action before. I was intrigued, you might say, but I wasn't ready for this. Once he pushed me out of the way, he suddenly started whistling real loud. And once the lookout noticed and started to lean his head out of the window to see what was going on, he reared back real far and chucked the gigantic blade humming like a propeller across the street, where it landed dead center in the lookout's face as he stuck his head out. Then he took off running towards the entrance as the lookout's body began to slide throughout the window, the sheer weight of this weapon pulling him over the edge. Then right before he hit the ground, Muscles was already under him, snatching the object from his face and making his way the rest of the distance to the door, dragging the body behind him by the leg, never breaking his stride as he kicked the door open and walked inside. After a few moments of stillness, he stuck his head out from the top window where the lookout had been and waved me over before disappearing back inside. By the time I could cross the street with his case, he was already outside, washing the blood on the sidewalk away with what smelled like a jug of bleach. Then he took the case from me and made his way back to the alley, leaving me to go retrieve what I was sent for. Jesus Christ, I whispered to myself as I walked in, stepping over the corpse of the lookout to find two halves of a somewhat less human-looking body laying in the doorway off to the left, a long gash down both walls on either side, right at the height the body would have been parted. I came across several similar scenes as I wandered around the place looking for the hammer. The rest of the bodies didn't seem to be human either. Didn't stop me from taking a Rolex or two off of them though. Didn't even bother looking through their wallets. Everybody's going cashless these days, and unloading cards is just a pain. Then after a little more searching, I finally found what I was looking for. The hammer was in a fancy glass display case. Or it was fancy before I smashed it open with a much less fancy ashtray sitting on the coffee table next to it. Okay, I got the stupid hammer, I thought to myself as I picked it up and looked it over. The hell's so special about this thing? I asked right before I heard the police sirens in the distance.